in Lhasa feels like crossing into another world. At Lhasa Gonggar Airport, Tibetan and Mandarin signs rise together against the Himalayan sky. Two scripts, two histories, one shared space. Outside, locals greet arriving visitors with a white khata, gently placed around the neck. It symbolizes purity, goodwill, and safe passage. In that moment, you stop being a stranger and become a guest. Lhasa is a living spiritual city, and the monasteries of Tibet are not quiet relics, they are alive. At Sera Monastery, monks engage in philosophical debate with sharp claps and rapid-fire questions, turning logic into movement, rhythm and sound. Pilgrims circle temples, spinning prayer wheels, whispering mantras, and walking Kora routes as naturally as others walk city streets. Butter lamps glow beside golden statues, while incense drifts through ancient corridors, filling the space with a quiet, enduring presence. Roadworks, markets, conversations, and daily routines fill the city. Lhasa is not frozen in time. It is a living, evolving place, steadily modernizing while retaining its character. Its pedestrian-friendly center makes walking easy and enjoyable. Streets are clean, public toilets are free, and signage appears in Tibetan and Mandarin, with English used in some areas. Far from the city, in the countryside, I was invited into the home of a Tibetan woman who lives with 3 husbands and raises 5 children. This is not an exception meant to shock. It is a form of traditional polyandry that still exists in some remote areas. In her case, the story is practical rather than romantic. A farming family with limited land faced an economic dilemma. Providing dowries for multiple sons would be impossible. So instead of dividing households and land, the brothers share one marriage. The result is a single household where all 3 brothers live together with one wife. Each has his own room. The children refer to the eldest as father and the younger 2 as uncles. At night, the system is simple. The wife leaves her shoes outside the door of the husband she is with, so the others know not to enter. When I asked whether the children know who is biologically whose, she said she does not. But what stood out was not complexity, it was harmony. The grandmother often cares for the children while the adults work. Life is modest, but stable and cooperative. This moment revealed something important. Tradition here is not abstract. It adapts to geography, economics, and survival in high-altitude life. The beautifully preserved Potala Palace, featured on the 50 yuan banknote, stands majestically overlooking the capital city of Lhasa. At the summit of the Potala Palace, history feels close. These rooms once housed Dalai Lamas, monks, tutors and attendants, surrounded by sacred objects and immense wealth. One story tells of a Dalai Lama who fell in love with a young woman from Lhasa and wrote her letters from these rooms. Whether legend or memory, it reveals a deeply human layer beneath spiritual authority. This is a painting of the legendary princess Wencheng. In the 7th century, she was sent from the Tang Empire to marry Songtsen Gampo, the founder of the Tibetan Empire Tubo, in what was far more than a diplomatic alliance. Her journey covered roughly 5,000 kilometers across mountains and wilderness, one of the most arduous and remarkable journeys of its time. Her story has 3 layers: political, a marriage alliance between empires; personal, a forced journey shaped by filial duty and imperial pressure; cultural, the transfer of knowledge, Buddhism, Confucian values, together with medicine, agriculture, and craft traditions. Over time, she became a symbolic figure of cultural exchange and compassion. So when the Lhasa musical has her sing, "I wish for the living to be free from famine, for the poor to be free from sorrow," she expresses a Confucian sense of moral duty, reflecting the ideal that a ruler should care for the well-being of the people. When she then sings, "The world has no distant place," it becomes more than poetry. It reflects endurance, displacement, and transformation. In Tibet, religion is not confined to temples and monasteries. It appears on roadsides, village walls, and home altars. Painted deities and prayer flags turn landscapes into spiritual space. Faith is continuous, not occasional. High above Lhasa, I unexpectedly met a respected Tibetan spiritual leader, an encounter that needed no explanation. At nearly 5,000 meters, I also met R. Kumar Singhal, driving from New Delhi to London across 20 countries in 69 days. When asked about permits, he said simply, "Not at all." I met many everyday people, workers resting during breaks, children learning both Mandarin and Tibetan calligraphy, and families going about their daily lives in the countryside.
A Tibetan friend, he speaks, says
yeah,
something
yeah.
in Tibetan.
tanda Lhasa ni me thupo di dina jagali do ne thoma tashi tele inda kurang lamgal thoma tashi tele tusam sokwarsho ya tashi tele. Thank you.
Thank you. What did you say?
I say something the good words
Good
about
words. Good
you
wishes.
have a lucky and everything is good lucky like this and like
You're very kind to me. Thank you. I wish you the same. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Children's books in Tibetan are widely available and bilingual education is visible in schools. This boy, for example, proudly shows his Tibetan calligraphy. At high altitude, I met Tibetan mastiffs, powerful, loyal dogs adapted to the Himalayas. Despite their size, they were gentle and responsive, sensing friendliness immediately. But at 5,000 meters, I was fortunate not to need oxygen. The landscapes opened up in full, snow-capped peaks, winding rivers, and vast skies stretching endlessly above. Even moments of playful energy, like standing on a car roof in the wind and making music, felt surreal in the thin mountain air. Development and change are visible wherever one goes. Bridges, roads, and power lines now reach even the most remote areas. Infrastructure is expanding rapidly, reshaping life in regions that were once difficult to access. Land that was previously impossible to cultivate is now being turned green through modern agricultural technology. New factories are emerging and modern residential areas are being built. And then there are the smiles and everyday moments of joy. A grandfather clapping with his grandson, the baby perfectly imitating his grandfather's movements. A father dancing on one leg with his daughter while smiling neighbors look on. These moments stayed with me more than anything else. And finally, a reflection on sharing this journey across Tibet with my Vietnamese friends. Tibet defies a single narrative. It exists in layers, at once spiritual and modern, historical and lived, ordinary and extraordinary. It is rich complexity that makes it so unforgettable. The notion that its local culture and language are being suppressed exists only in the imaginations of Westerners who have never experienced Tibet firsthand and view it through a lens of animosity toward China. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Tibetan culture and history, hit like, subscribe and share your thoughts down below. See you in my next video.